Hello there, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And may the 4th be with you as we break down another Star Wars fan film. This time, we are talking Star Wars SC-38 Reimagined, baby! Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Alright. Okay, Dragon, so, the Star Wars fandom, it's been a little bit of a dumpster fire. Like, we had one glowing moment of, like, Mando for a couple years is keeping us together. And then I think it kind of, maybe went to hell a little bit in the social media front, but we'll see how they pick up the pieces. I mean, there's certainly a lot of Star Wars media coming out. Book of Boba Fett, very much looking forward to that. So Dragon, there's a lot of Star Wars on Disney Plus too, specifically with the vintage stuff. So we figured we're not going to dabble in all of it, but we figured, I don't even want to consider this Star Wars stuff a full theme month for us, Dragon, but it's definitely kind of a little side excursion for us. We're going to take a look at a couple things from the Star Wars vintage collection over at Disney Plus, which is, me, Dragon. I like my weird, obscure media, so that should be fun. And then we're also going to take a look at the other side of the coin, the fan film stuff that's so professional looking, it should be in the goddamn films. And with that in mind, yeah, Star Wars SC-38 Reimagined. For those not in the know, this is essentially bringing the classic Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader fight from A New Hope to a new generation with fan visual effects. Dragon, I assume there's a lot of tricky editing and body doubles and stuff like that in here. Honestly, Dragon, this was a little bit of movie magic because I kind of just went with it. I wasn't really thinking too hard about how it was actually getting done. So yeah, this needless to say, Dragon, I was very impressed with this. I really thought that they did a great job of capturing kind of like the modern day pacing and tension of a modern Star Wars movie. And more importantly, adding that with the pathos and the thematic elements of what used to be a classic lightsaber battle, which, for better or for worse, with all the finesse and, kind of like parkour of it all with modern lightsaber stuff, I feel like some of the themes of the lightsaber has kind of been lost, and we get a little bit of a return to form with that, with a modern flair, with Star Wars SC-38 Reimagined. So yeah, suffice to say, Dragon, if you want a special edition, like, oh my god, I would, as much as A New Hope is my favorite Star Wars movie, Dragon, I don't know if I say that enough. To me, I do rank A New Hope slightly above Empire, just because the amount of world building that movie does for an entire universe that up until that point nobody, like, the fact that A New Hope,
by definition, A New Hope is Star Wars,
Yeah, like the fact that A New Hope created everything, like to me, like, as good as Empire is, and as compelling as the stories are, it all kind of comes back to A New Hope. And I kind of look at Star Wars from like a cinephile point of view, and also I'm kind of fascinated by Star Wars, both in the good and the bad sense from a cultural point of view. So yeah, it all goes back to A New Hope, Dragon. Yeah, with that in mind, I as much as I love A New Hope, I would gladly take a cut of A New Hope with this just kind of copy and paste inserted in, because my God, it adds something, man. It really does.
Agreed. So, my thesis on this, so yeah, of course, in kind of selecting this, we are in the age of, especially this year, we find ourselves in the age of director's cuts and alternate versions, and more tied to the Star Wars of it all, special editions. Very historically, Star Wars is very rich in all the special editions and little changes here and there, but...
the fandom edit of it all.
Exactly. So it's great to see the rich history of Star Wars fan films kind of take that precedent and go next level with it. And the FixItInPost crew, that's the guys who did this, by the way, so FixItInPost, they did that wonderfully. They kind of took those two sides of the old fandom coin, the whole, like, there's the old special editions, and there's the fan films. What if we kind of put those together and kind of reconfigure it in a really in a really cool way. So let me abridge into some of the back. This thing has a really interesting little bit of backstory. Fix It in Post. These guys are up-and-comers of the highest order, my friend. That they are, as you can kind of tell by their work here. Here's what gets us. Them doing Scene 38, Reimagined.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should I just be calling it Scene 38 instead of SC38?
I say Scene 38. I'm pretty
okay.
sure.
The only reason I'm going by the SC38 is it vaguely sounds like THX 1138.
I know that's the cool thing. That's I saw this thing. I heard about this scene.
Right.
All the rage when it came out, but yeah. Of course, the 38. Oh my god! That's anyway. So,
crazy coincidence that this happened to be Scene 38 because this is a pivotal Star Wars moment.
I know it's crazy. So, this was directed by Philip J. Silvera. Now, Silvera, if I'm saying that right, Silvera, he was a stunt man and, more importantly, a stunt coordinator who had basically done everything I loved. so he was a stunt coordinator on both Deadpool movies, on Daredevil seasons 1 and 2, on
some of the best stunts in the superhero genre, bar none.
And it gets even better. He was on. He's worked on Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Nice.
He did the Arkham games, Arkham City and Arkham Knight specifically, and just the kind of some other stuff that he's in. Those are all things I love. And then you have I believe he was also in Iron Man 3. One is like he's a stunt guy who gets a role in the movie as like a henchman or something. He's in Iron Man 3 and Indiana Jones 4. So there's a little bit of a Lucasfilm connection there.
Ah, cool.
So the point being, again, obviously with the Daredevil and the Deadpool of it all, fight choreography, very, very well experienced, and it definitely shows in terms of how you choreograph the lightsaber fight. And basically the credo, the age-old credo of Fix It in Post, their whole mission statement for all the stuff they're trying to do is, let's mix VFX and quality action, but have it driven by story, which I think...
Definitely.
This is like the perfect summation of that.
It's a marriage, Dragon. It's a marriage.
Yes, ain't a marriage story, kids. It's a proper marriage.
No, it's not a marriage story. No, it's the good marriage.
Yes. So yeah, and of course, basically, this is designed to essentially play chronologically. In the Star Wars canon. So it's like the old thing, like if you watch the Star Wars films in proper order, there's always going to be that sore thumb sticking out of like, as great as A New Hope is, and there's no argument there, New Hope is wonderful, it's fantastic, it is by definition Star Wars of the highest order. Empire Strikes Back, that's a great Star Wars movie, but A New Hope is Star Wars.
Yes.
So, just knowing all that, and of course the episode 4 of it all, it's like, you'd think after again, while I think it goes on for, about 10 minutes longer than it probably should, or even probably longer than that, the lightsaber battle in episode 3 on Mustafar, cool as it is, and I like it, it just goes on a little too much, a little too much leaping around lava. Mm-hmm. Cool as it is, you have that, and then your follow-up is, okay, so they're old men now, one missing his limbs, and it's just like, hey, it's the big one, strike me down, I'll be more powerful than you can possibly imagine. That's it, that's the fight. It's like, tap, tap, then, dead.
Right, yeah.
It's not much. I mean, sad as it is to say, and again, I'm not holding that against New Hope and saying they didn't know it was the first one. They didn't know how big it was going to get. They didn't know they were going to get a set. I mean, Lucas obviously had hopes, but, they kind of exploded. Like, we can absolutely do this. Yeah. We have a young man versus a robot man. We can do this. So in that sense, it's like, okay, chronologically, let's actually do this as a follow-up and kind of a sequel to the Mustafar fight, logically, and just kind of work it in very, very naturally through the editing and everything into Scene 38 of Star Wars, the very, very very well remembered scene for many reasons. But let's jazz up like the one of the very few imperfections of A New Hope, and like let's make it good. Let's put fandom to use in a positive sense, and we did that, and here we go.
All right, so Dragon, do you have any other background or like behind the scenes, like how they did it?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of green screen. There was some face replacement, I'm sure, for the Obi-Wan effect. But I mean, beyond that, I can't really speak to. Unfortunately, behind the scenes is one of those behind the scenes. It's just like showing them shooting it, but it's not really like them walking through.
That bugs me.
Sad to say, but no,
Yeah.
it is. It was cool to see everything come together, though. I'll give that. But the point being that I assume there's some face replacement, really extensive choreography is kind of figured out. Again, per the whole Daredevil, Deadpool standard of it all. Like, okay, there's easily some hallway fights, as you can see. A lot of hallway fights. Not oneers, but still impressive.
All right, so we start things off with a close-up of the Death Star. We get some audio to just kind of like set the scene, the whole like that's no moon, and stuff of that nature.
Really
just
clever
kind
kind
of
of recap, just setting the scene. Absolutely, like
Yeah.
I got a bad the iconic. I got a bad feeling about this.
So I think one of the most impressive things about this is how it blends old and new footage together.
I agree 100%. You know, I also really like that in that little preamble, it really sets apart, both Vader and Obi-Wan basically on a path of destiny to meet each other. And like Luke saying, no, you can't go alone. I'll go with you. Your destiny lies on a different path, Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Vader senses Obi-Wan, no, I must face him alone. So I love the build-up of the big brawl, of like the destiny of like, I haven't felt this presence in a long time. It's like fulfilled,
Yeah. Okay, so Obi-Wan is sneaking around the Death Star as he does in the original. I'm pretty sure it's all the same footage for the most part,
yes, this is like him after. So again, he broke off from our H squad, if you will. He broke off from them to turn off the tractor beam so the Millennium Falcon can go without being sucked back in there. And he did that already. So now he's working his way back to find.
So correct me if I'm wrong. The moment where they transition into new footage is when Obi-Wan puts on his hood, right?
Yes, which again is clever in that we this effect we can only. They are using like a face replacement thing, and they have an actor with a beard, I'm sure, and we have that for the wide shots. That's why it looks good from a distance. And we have a guy who looks as close as Obi-Wan as we're going to get. But when we can actually put Alec Guinness's face on this actor and have his lines in the close-up shots. But again, for the action shots, we need to obscure him a little bit. Hence the hood.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Purely new footage. So he's going down the hallway.
And of course, we saw the hood used to great effect in Mando itself. So.
So yeah, a little bit of that. Coincidentally, I'm pretty sure that predates that Mando, but
I'm pretty sure it does too. Yeah.
Pretty sure this came out. I want to say 2019, at latest 2020, but I'm pretty
sure this came out before Mando season 1 came out.
I think that's right. I think that's. I want to say this came out probably. I want to say around May the 4th, around that year, whenever year it came out.
I'm looking at the video right now. It said May 8th, 2019.
Well, it's a narrow margin, but yeah. There you go. I'm sorry, what year was it again?
2019.
Nice. Okay, it was 19. All right.
So yeah, it was definitely before Mando season 2 was even in production. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So but let's see, where was. Right, but yeah, the thing I think this Phantom really has going for, especially by the end. But before we get there, I just love this idea of we're adding extra significance to things you never thought about within the encounter of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. Now knowing what we know from the prequels and such, is that Obi-Wan's going into this fight knowing if he goes up against Vader, there's a very good chance he's not walking out of there.
Right.
Like, he's pulling out that lightsaber expecting a fight.
I think they set that up well enough in the original, but yeah, they definitely emphasize it more here.
And again, like, I love that we knowing what this fan film is, we also pulled that Luke exchange I completely forgot about, despite how often I've seen A New Hope. Just the whole, like, no, your destiny lies on a different path. That's Obi-Wan saying, I'm not going to be able to go with the rest of the journey with you in the conventional sense, kids. I'm going to get more mind and body going forward. Body's going to be going bye-bye later. All right, so then we have two of them are walking down a hallway, and we have the reimagined confrontation as kind of our big Mustafar follow-up, but purely story-driven. So very, very.
I love how intense the actor in the Vader suit moves, Dragon. He's really got a physicality to him.
Very Kane Hodder-esque, and I love.
Oh yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah. So let's see. So we have I love my favorite thing in my favorite go-to effect in this whole thing is we're drawing the lightsabers like weapons. It's using the Force, like the Force draw is my favorite effect. It's just so awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah, I mean they do a lot of tricks that we've seen before within the modern Star Wars movies, but it's cool to see them implemented into into this scene. Like, for example, we see the kind of like a Kylo Ren style, like, the walls around them getting kind of shredded by the lightsaber.
Yeah, which is great, and also just all the subtlety. It's like, here's the thing: the problem with your prequel lightsaber fights versus kind of where we're at now, and especially kind of where we were at, like I guess the kind of in its prime with Empire, and maybe with Jedi, was
Jedi was lightsaber prime, Dragon.
There you
Make
go.
no mistake.
Sure. I'm saying
I mean, Empire was great, but Jedi, yeah, that is
fine, and in its prime for sure. Yes. What I'm saying is, by that time we were figuring out, okay, what makes a lightsaber fight really a lightsaber fight before it just turns into like a CG sort of like, hey, look, we're swinging around glow sticks, doing fancy moves, and like no one's.
You know what's funny is that I feel like the prequels were too choreographed, and then I feel like the sequel trilogy, they weren't choreographed enough, if that makes sense.
I don't know. The Force Awakens fight was pretty good.
But it feels like, yeah, it was pretty good, but it was like, I feel like specifically the style they were trying to, because if you think about it, all of the lightsaber fights in the sequel trilogy are pretty damn unconventional, because, we have the Force Awakens fight, which is essentially like a chase scene combined with a fight, because it's like Kylo Ren's like trying to flee, and then, and then they're all like pursuing him. And then, of course, Last Jedi, that's a whole beast unto itself with the lightsaber battle there. And then, I guess the closest they have to a traditional lightsaber fight in the sequel trilogy is, of course, the infamous, like, the one on the Death Star with Finn just yelling, "Rey!" the whole time. Anyway, sorry.
Right. Well, what was I getting? All right. Yeah. So just the whole, it's the environment. It's like the condensed space. It's like in Empire, when Luke's fighting Vader, we're slicing through everything, like we're throwing things at people. That's what makes it. It's like the little personal details within the fight. It's like the little personal stakes attached to the fight, which even the Mustafar thing compared to all the other lightsaber fights in the prequel trilogy. I mean, something like that in Duel of the Fates are the closest thing you have to a really lightsaber fight, and that there are emotions involved. And
I'm not gonna lie, the Mustafar fight is like towards the bottom of my rankings for lightsaber fights, just because it goes on for like way.
I know, that's the thing. I love the ending of that fight is amazing, but getting to there, it's like it goes on a really long time. But,
I mean, I feel like that was like the peak of George Lucas's obsession with CGI, right?
That sounds about right, yeah. And that's the thing. I love that if you just look at like the subtle details, like Vader is kind of going, like the strength of Vader going down that hallway, drawing the lightsaber, like it's very much kind of like a bear of a guy. He's a raging bull, and you have the wizened, aged knight. As like Obi-Wan's like he's holding it out like a knight would hold a sword as he's walking, like a Jedi knight. Hence the term. As he's just kind of like walking down the hallway, preparing for a fight. And that summarizes who those two characters are. Where Vader strayed from the path, letting his emotions kind of guide him, and his anger kind of like justify his path. Where Obi-Wan's still fighting, he's still following the Jedi path. And of course, we now have some retroactive things that we would never have been able to do, New Hope, that we can now do. Like, hey, the Rogue One go-to shot, the money shot, where Vader, when he draws that lightsaber, it's going to be one way. Pointed to the floor and surrounded by smoke. We have like all these great little visual details. Like when Vader's fighting Obi-Wan, we have like the reflection in the eyes, which look awesome.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And the floor reflection.
Generally speaking, Dragon, like, as cool as this is, like, as a fan edit, this is really like it's a lot of things. Like, it's a fan film, it's a fan edit, but it's also a very, very impressive visual effects showcase.
It is.
Yeah.
And again, not just for the razzle dazzle of it all.
There's one visual effect that really stands out that we'll get to, where I'm like, that could use a little bit more work.
Again, honestly, it feels like had they been given, like, again, this is probably like them straps in terms
it's
of like
literally one shot, Dragon. It's literally one shot that kind of sticks out.
I'm convinced, Tiki, if they had studio money, they would make it look flawlessly like it could be unequivocally cut into a New Hope.
I mean, as it stands now, I think it pretty much is there on its own.
Yeah, I think it's already...
Like, with the exception of, like, maybe one or two moments.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, had they been given studio money, I think those one or two moments maybe could have been massaged out, and then it would have been absolutely flawless. But as it stands, it's beyond compare already.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like the little, like the reflection on the floor of the
I love
lights.
the reflection of the lightsabers in his eyes kind of almost make him look like he has the angry eyebrows look.
Yeah, yeah. And again, both, and of course, you want to look for symbolism. Again, the blue lightsaber and the red lightsaber are
Uh-huh.
reflected, as in
In
like
his eyes. Oh
he's
yeah,
past.
big time.
So my
Yeah.
favorite thing, of course, which really helps again, not just do like, hey, it's just guys, hitting each other with lightsabers. It's we're using the dialogue from A New Hope, and it's
We
very
are.
easy to do with
We are.
Vader. Our long-awaited meeting has come at last. Like, the big revenge battle, and like, but the circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master, the only master of evil, Darth. They always have the action, the attack, and like that's the trigger word for him. Like, now I'm mad.
And he just starts using the force, and that's when I start geeking out, Dragon, when that pile of crates or whatever it is just starts flying at Obi-Wan.
And of course, then we have like just space crates. We have the space crates, and we have like a kind of a fuel cell, which then lights Vader on fire. Which, given all the trauma that he has being a burn victim, I'm sure that really chafes
I
his
know,
arm.
right?
And like my favorite detail, like when they're swinging the lightsaber up, they're taking out the lights on the Death Star.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in the set design for sure. I will go ahead and nitpick that I think the footage of Luke and Leia and C-3PO and all that, like, I guess it needs to be there just so you have the reaction from Luke. I don't necessarily think it fits in with how modern the rest of the scene looks.
Well, I mean, Tiki, you need that so you can believably go with the conceit of, hey, so this is edited into the movie, and this is what happens in the movie.
I getcha, yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's the two paths. This is Obi-Wan's path.
To me, it almost kind of like has the same problem that the special editions had in some regards, where it's like, Dragon, generally speaking, I am honestly, like, we don't really talk about this that much, but like, I'm a defender of the special editions for the most part, like outside of like some obvious stuff, the stuff that everyone bitches about. I really think the special editions, like, generally speaking, this might be a hot take, but I really think they did more good than harm in regards to like beefing up the effects and the look and everything like that. So, but there are occasionally moments with the special edition, of course, Jabba, the Max Rebo thing being a big one. Where it's like, okay, this feels like a completely different movie. And I will admit, this kind of veers into that territory just a little bit.
Well, the one egregious, and not egregious in like I hate it or anything, just egregious in that really you don't need it at all, like with the special editions, was in Episode 4, you had that, we have Jabba in A New Hope, which, I mean, it's, hey, cool, it's Jabba, then you think about it, like, that really takes away from when we see him in Jedi, if we have him in A New Hope.
I remember when I was a kid, I really liked that, just because I loved the look of Jabba, and I liked that we had more of him. But yeah, I totally agree with you in regards to like building up the mystery for sure.
And plus, we shrink him down in size, and like Han's is stepping on his tail, so we kind of took out the menace of Jabba. It's like, what do we do to him? But I don't know. Just to cut in between. What I like about it is that we have the two paths of destiny with Luke's story and with Obi-Wan's story. So again, the New Hope within the scene is also kind of Luke. That's why I don't mind it at all, really. But of course, we don't have the full version here because technically we're supposed to see Luke and Leia do the swing, but we don't because they're playing fast and loose with how much footage they're showing. I'm sure there's only so much they can show without maybe getting in trouble. I don't know. Or like they don't want to drag down the pacing. If like, okay, now there's a little too much Luke in our little fan.
Oh yeah, I would say if they have that big swing moment, it would definitely be too much Luke and Leia.
So that's what I'm saying. I think they made the right call. Yeah. They could have been a lot more, Teague. I think they made the right calls with what they do have. And also, so just back to the fight itself. So of course we have the big. We're reconfiguring the order of moments here because we reconstruct the strike me down and I'll be more powerful than you can possibly imagine. After he tells him he can't win. So we have that here before the end of the fight, which is where it always is. So that's interesting. So we're just kind of setting that up because we're seeing it from different eyes.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I'll show you the true nature of the Force. And that's when we're throwing stuff out and light them on fire and doing cool stuff like that. So it's that they seem really evenly matched after the years. So it's almost like a Dark Knight Returns fight, man. It's like Batman and Joker meeting each other after all these years, just getting back into the old fight. It's like it's the score to sit, man. It's awesome.
I love the lighting in this room, like the red kind of like almost neon lights on the walls. Very
the
classic.
Emergency lights was a cool bit where
Very classic kind of like Star Destroyer set design right there.
Like, I don't think we've ever seen the red emergency lights in the Death Star, and it makes so much sense. Like,
it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
They would have emergency lights, and it would look awesome with the red. Yeah. Have we done that? Okay, so as you said, meanwhile,
and Darth Vader just like straight up throws his lightsaber straight at Obi-Wan's face, just like barely misses him. That's a great shot.
Yeah, and then of course he almost decapitates someone. He's like using it to basically go right over Obi-Wan's head, right as he ducks at the last second. Which, by the way, when that lightsaber goes into the wall, it's like this really clever shot where like we're blocking out either the effect or the actor who looks like Obi-Wan, so it seems seamless that is Obi-Wan.
Yeah, right.
That's really good. And also, again, the hallway, the very Daredevil like hallway fight that led to that moment too. That's when they're like we hit the red lights and everything. That's great too. So all that's wonderful. Again, this the confined space of it all. In space.
So we cut back to Han for a sec, Han and Chewie.
Yep, and of course that's when we link up with Luke and Leia. There's them after the swing, and it's like, okay, they can see the Falcon, but they have to get to it. So I like a little bit of cause and effect going on here. Basically, when we wrap up the fight, all the stormtroopers are going to assist the boss man. And that's what gives them the opening to go.
Yeah, you're right. That does kind of like give it a little bit better of a flow. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, so then we have like the big reveal moment of, okay, so now the doors open for the big much, and when those doors open, like, oh no, this is the part where Obi-Wan loses. Oh. So the action draws the troopers away, which basically leads to the ship. Han's hoping that, oh god, I hope the old man did his job, and we don't get caught in that tractor beam. Then we have the best part. Honestly, the best part of the whole film for me, as great as everything else has been leading up to this moment. We have like the scores here. We have kind of like the we have kind of the Requiem kind of choir going on, a little like Episode 3.
Yeah.
And we have the audio from Episode 3. This is my favorite conceit of the whole. This is where they're adding the layers to the action, the effects here. It's like the whole, we're hearing, by the way, within the action, the way we use it for, it's like, Darth Vader is punching Obi-Wan Kenobi in this during that lightsaber battle. Just want to get that in there, and then Obi-Wan's very clever, like he's using the Force to push him back for the big moment, so we can stage it.
I got to point out that when Obi-Wan uses the Force to push him back, that like it literally is them taking a JPEG of Vader and just like moving it across the screen. It doesn't look good.
You're not wrong, but again, I like that it gets us to the iconic.
But like I said, Dragon, it's the one shot. It's the one shot that looks bad.
But again, it's like a well. It's like a we don't care. It's like,
I'll give them a pass on it. I'll give it. The rest of it looks so damn good,
And again, if the studio gave them some money, I'm sure they could iron that out. Like
sure.
I just seen what they did on their own. This is unequivocally amazing.
So
again, it's the big link up. They're just seeing like the rematch is kind of echoes from the past of the last time they fought each other and how emotionally fraught with tension it was. All I hate you. To Obi-Wan.
That's like the best use of Hayden Christensen's overacting I've ever seen.
Yes. Then again, seriously, the best part of that movie is the big payoff of Vader and of that lightsaber fight. Just that I hate you were my brother. I love how we hold off the last part of this speech too for the very end. By the way, the whole "You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you." And then it's just like the motive behind the rematch is right there, and. Then, of course, Luke he wants to jump in, wants to help him, but then Al Guinness gives that winning smile. We cannot have this fanfare without Al Guinness giving that smile. That reassuring everything's going to be okay smile. As he basically surrenders to his fate with Vader, and it's a full circle thing again with the reminder of Episode 3 is that I failed him as a teacher. The only way I can succeed in life and succeed in kind of the mission, kind of help this guy reach the end of things, is if I accept defeat with a higher purpose. It's defeat for a higher goal, for a higher purpose. For Luke can kind of help diffuse things at the end of the day. Be the chosen one. Be the new chosen one, so to speak. So again, we have the robe slice, and he disappears, and Luke's all, no! We'll fight the stormtroopers, and of course, one of the great bits. It's a little bit, but I love that we put it in there. Vader checks the robe.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
Checks the robe. Yeah. He's got to check. It's not a new robe. You cannot do that scene without Vader. I don't know why, but you can't do it without him checking the robe. He just disappeared. It's Vader acknowledging, where's the body?
I was wondering if they were going to keep the whole body disappearing thing or if they're going to play it a different way. I'm glad they kept
But
it.
they framed it ambiguously, though, which is really good.
They did,
Clearly
yeah.
see, in A New Hope, we clearly see him disappear. It's no question.
Yeah, right.
There's like hit, and then he disappeared right in the same moment. That's great. So, like, Luke has no idea. So anyway, really nice bit here. I can't remember if this is in A New Hope, honestly. This is a really cool bit where I assume it has to be in one of the permutations where after Luke hears Kenobi say, "Run, Luke," as they're all like getting on the ship and they can't stay any longer as the stormtroopers are firing, but they're never going to hit him, so they're going to be fine. But anyway, so they run on the Falcon. Then Vader hears this though. Vader's line, "Kenobi." It's like just him. I completely forgot.
You know what?
That.
I got to be honest. I don't think that's ever been in there.
Right? I think that's them adding a really nice.
I really
layer.
don't think that's been in there. Yeah.
That's a nice layer. Like Vader kind of sensing Kenobi. It's like him kind of sensing what his destiny is going to be as a Force ghost early on. I don't know. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, cool. It's cool. Yeah.
We have the Falcon escape. Then we have the really I love this ending, man. This ending is great. It's also a logical question no one's ever talked about in all of Star Wars, at least in my experience, where the powerful ending of Vader grabbing Kenobi's lightsaber. With the music, and then of course "You are the chosen one." That save that last part for the ending. There's the little. It's still on Vader's mind, but the fact of no one ever talks about. Yeah, whatever happened to Obi-Wan's lightsaber?
Right. Yeah. Everyone's so obsessed with what happened to Luke's lightsaber, but
I'm still interested, man. By the way, they're doing another one of these for Cloud City. I don't know what
for another time. Sorry.
Yeah, but
J. Abrams. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. So the next, the Fix It in Post crew, the next next Star Wars film they're working on is set during Empire, and it looks like it's gonna. The tease that they had is like seeing Luke's lightsaber fall during the during the battle, but not like falling during his big fall. So that's what I'm curious if they're going to go there with it. We're going to track Luke's lightsaber in this other deleted scene.
So
I don't know.
We're going to see the story for another time.
Wouldn't that be cool though? If we actually
that would be cool.
I trust these guys with it. I mean, I'm not promising that we're going to get
Disney.
that. All I can say is they teased Luke's lightsaber in that fight, which implies to me that's the Empire fight, Cloud City. Why wouldn't we do that?
All right.
But seriously, great ending. It's still on Vader's mind. Like the whole I got my victory, but it's bittersweet. It's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Any final thoughts, Dragon?
Final thoughts for me. This is a quality Star Wars fan film. So good it could practically be cut into the film. You got your Rogue One and Mando Season 2. They prove that there's a lot of love for revisiting the past and finding a way to add spokes to the old grandiose Star Wars wheel. Little Empire, the little Imperial logo that looks like a space wheel, if you will. And this is how you do a special edition. I could absolutely concur with what you said earlier, Tiki. This for me. This is how you do a special edition. Like, I can imagine, I'm gonna throw this out there to you. Imagine a Star Wars trilogy. Like, imagine we took one more stab at the special editions, where we did a Star Wars trilogy of fan-altered moments. Not like that whole recreation, like the I can't remember what it's called, but the thing that was cut into the People versus George Lucas.
Yes.
Not just them, like fans, like recreating the moments, but like them doing stuff like this, where you have something like this, and let's say, just something that you and I both have talked about before, when you get to Return of the Jedi, we see the David Prowse unmasking that Marcos Cabota shot.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. Imagine if you had a cut of like a trilogy of that. We've added spokes to the wheel from the people who love this stuff.
So basically, like, we'd add stuff back in from the original cuts, but we'd also include new fan film type content like this.
Yeah, stuff that fits in perfectly though. Stuff that
that's a cut I want to see.
That makes a special edition actually a special edition, not just it's just like change infinitesimal things. So this is a testament to Star Wars fans in relation to the films they themselves, and in a positive light that we need to celebrate. Hence, celebrating it on May the 4th.
All right, folks. Well, May the 4th be with you indeed. Like I said, we're going to be checking out one more fan film this month, as well as a couple things from the Star Wars Vintage collection on Disney Plus. Those will be under the Plus Must banner. So like I said, we're not really doing a whole theme month on this, but still, we're definitely dipping our toe into the Star Wars well this May. And in the meantime, Dragon, true story, I've got a Stitch tattoo to get on my shoulder.
That's a story for another time.
It is. It is. That's actually what I'm doing on May the 4th. All right. Have a good night, everyone. See you later.
Goodbye there.
Goodbye there.